welcome to another segment of Wednesday's Wisdom. I am here with D Screen, and she has allowed me to enter her beautiful home.
Thank you.
And just has so much wisdom, such an amazing story, such a powerful woman. Tell me about yourself.
I'm first and foremost, I'm a mother first. 5 beautiful children, 8 blended in. Married to my second husband for 26 years. Of course, the first one was abuse. And this is how I came about my nonprofit and my business. My nonprofit is Victory Over Victim. What we do is facilitate teens, single moms, and single mothers who have, to their discretion, any type of domestic violence, any type of sex crimes, any type of rape, any type of emotional, like you name it, gun violence, anti-bullying. Yeah, we're here to facilitate and counsel, and through the nonprofit, the counseling is free. But through my profit, For My Voice, and the reason I named it For My Voice is because each one of my girls have endured the domestic violence. They say, and it's very true, it's not a myth, if you do not teach your children that it is not okay that they will endure some type of violence. I was born of rape, my mom was raped, and then I was raped. So I felt like I was born a curse. But I had to forgive each and every soul that I felt like caused me any type of pain. I forgave my mom. I forgave my ex-husband for taking me through the domestic violence and almost giving up, suicidal thoughts. I had to let go and let God, so I could have peace and solace with me and begin to live my life. I didn't know what love was. My husband, my present husband, taught me real love, because I took that man through some things, and he still stuck around through all my flaws and loved me for me and accepted me for who I was, accepted my children. And I always say, you can't knock a person who have been through something, because he endured whatever he endured in his past, and he balanced me out to a certain extent, and I balanced him out.
Right.
No, and I stayed by myself for 8 years. So I was still in search of me. Even when we, our story is kind of crazy, because we married, we divorced, 2 years, and then we remarried.
It happens.
It happens, but you know, everybody can't change, but there are many that can change. I started my nonprofit in 2016 and been thriving ever since. For my profit, I just started last year for family counseling and anger management specialist, and I can relate because I've been through all of that. So I had to identify why I was angry, what I was angry about, and so I could move on and have some kind of peace and solace. And I just got through talking about it on Facebook as far as forgiveness. Unless you're telling some type of story, doing some type of motivational speaking, you're still holding on to a past you can't change.
Right.
And you're allowing it to control you. So don't allow your past to control your present. You got to have peace and find peace. Once you do that, you'll see all doors begin to open, as I did when I decided to leave the location I was, and I moved to Tampa, Florida. Is because my ex-husband was writing me, telling me that you are not going to live without me, and if I can't have you, nobody can.
And he
meant it. Sometimes you gotta believe a person for who they are and not who you want them to be. And I married the first time. I really married out of convenience, and married to have,
and out of brokenness.
Because I felt like, because of a 2-parent home, that's what I was always told. In a 2-parent home, your children are going to thrive. But those 8 years I was by myself, I did it singly, with my children. And I shared some of that story with you. And I worked at UPS part-time, took up cosmetology at night for 3 years.
Riding a bicycle.
I
believe.
Riding a bicycle, at least, I want to say
That specific story in itself is tear-jerking.
right.
And it's unbelievable.
Because I had to learn and I had to teach myself. And because of a lot of decisions I make, my children suffered. But when they got older, I sat each one of them down when they became teenagers and I said, forgive me for any decisions that I made that allowed you to be broken. And if it's anything that I can do from here on now, it would never substitute for it. But let's mend our broken hearts now.
You know, so many people have to forgive people who are dead. Forgive people who...
I had to do that too.
Yeah, who have to forgive people who don't feel sorry.
Yes.
And so to have that person acknowledge and take ownership of, this is what happened, and I know I didn't make good choices. I think that right there helps. I think that can help somebody in itself. One of the things that, one of the reasons why I wanted us to talk is because this is Sex Trafficking Awareness Month. And
I didn't know that. Look, I'm dealing in nonprofit and didn't know that. I got so much going on that sometimes life can pass you by.
Yeah, and that's like 3 different things every month, so it's a lot to take in and to manage. But you currently work in that area, working with young women.
Right.
And I wanted to speak to kind of what led you to do that. And
I wasn't involved in the sex trafficking, but I was raped. So on my end, on how I intake that is, you're emotionally abused. It's something that happened in your life that led you to that, and some it didn't. Some were abducted. Some fell into it because they had a weak mind. And we submit ourselves to certain things when our mind is not strong enough to comprehend it. And mine was giving back. I wanted to help. I wanted to, again, not just make a change, but be the change. I wanted to show them that they could surpass their circumstances, because their circumstances are only temporary. But when you're going through it, you don't see it like that. You think, like I did, I can keep reverting back to myself because of everything I endured. Like I did, why does it happen to me? You think it's only happening to you, but it's millions around the world.
You are working with these young ladies,
Yes,
to be a solution. And it's amazing that you said that, because this platform, my idea for it was all about solutions-based discussions. I know that it's important to highlight and acknowledge and recognize things, but if we don't get to the place where we can find actual solutions, we just reiterating the same information. We educated, but not wise about what the information we have.
perfectly well put.
So I really was like, let's get to people who have some kind of a solutions-based approach to these issues that we're finding in life. And it helps you, I know, because it helps you to heal.
It helps me to
when
heal.
you're able to share. And then talk about your vision for more of what you want to do for young women. And everything, it seems like it's going to be through your nonprofit. So talk to me more about that.
So my I used to make candles a while back, and my god sister started baking, and we was really just talking about it, making a joke about it. And I was like, how cool would it be if I make the candles look like treats, like ice cream cakes or whatever? And she said, girl, if you could do that, you the bomb. So to me, I took that as a challenge. So I left Florida, came back home, and just started experimenting. And and was surprised with what I came up with. So I just started doing my research on it, and I'm always thinking of ways to succeed and be successful, all in while being successful.
Right.
So in my nonprofit, I use my candles as a fundraiser to give back to my nonprofit, putting towards me building towards a transitional home, which is so much needed. These girls, they go into these group homes, and then once they leave there, they have no direction, they have no resources, they have...
Where does the families come in? Where do the families come in?
What do you mean?
With the young women who get into a program, once they're rescued,
Right.
then is it? I mean, I'm just asking you so you can educate people. Like,
Right.
What? Because that's a lot of people say, well, what happened to their family?
Okay. Some of them, like everybody, is judged differently, and it's sad to say that they are judged because of certain decisions that they made. But you got to remember that some of them are still teenagers and their minds aren't fully grown. So some might have not made that decision to be in sex trafficking or any type of abuse. They probably fell into the cracks of it. So what I learned that some parents stay in touch, but some of them don't get calls at all. And the ones that don't get calls at all, they are very broken. So it's hard for them to trust anybody. It's hard for them to open up to you. It's hard for them to like see light beyond you and say, this person is here to help me, because they're so used to being hurt. So they think that everybody is out to get them.
Wow.
So it's not gonna like roll over to, oh, they're just gonna listen. No, you can't judge them because of what they have been through. You can't judge them because of what they endured and what was allowed to happen to them.
Right.
Because you got millions of women being sold.
Right. Right.
You got millions of women being...
And it's really bad in here,
Right.
Atlanta. Like, our airport has a whole segment of people being trained on how to identify victims of sex trafficking or it's illegal, but people have so many ways to circumvent the system and processes. So they actually have training on it.
Exactly.
Because it's huge, even where we live. And then there's a lot of noise being made right now, and necessarily because we're finding thousands, tens of thousands of black women are missing right now.
That's crazy.
We're assuming that many of them are in other countries being sold. And so it's a form of
because it's not just sex trafficking, it's human trafficking.
Body parts. It's huge business.
Baby, let's get into it. Because you think it's just your body. No, it's your body parts that they want. You will become a target when you feel unloved. You will become a target when you have been raped. You will become a target when you have been molested. You will feel like falling into sex trafficking since your family don't love you. They're showing you love. They're not showing you love. They're making you their financial status because you're being sold. So you become their finances. You become their product. Now they finna put you on the shelf and sell you. I'm going to revert back to a piece of one of my poems. Knocks on the wall, I know somebody's awake. Don't you hear my screams? It's my body he's trying to take. Wow. Because nobody came to my rescue. So now it's giving me trust issues. It's giving me abandonment issues. It's making me feel unloved. It's making me feel like I don't exist, really. Because I remember sitting in the closet saying, why me? Lord, take my life. I was probably 8, 9, 10 years old at this time.
Wow.
I'm telling God, not knowing I'm talking to God because I'm still a child. Take my life because I wanted it to stop.
Wow.
He turned my pain into my purpose. Where I will continue to empower, inspire, and educate.